Ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on 105.5 The Team in Rochester. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by Teddy Bear 2 himself, Mr. Nick Steblenko. What up, Nick?
It would be a good day, but I got smoked last night, so it's not a good day.
I'm glad you led the show off with that because not only did you get smoked, Teddy Bear 2, Jason Gringer also got beat by a whopping 1.05 points by yours truly.
That's a rough one to take.
Okay. Just because I put up 2 monster days in a row, I've been playing really well in daily fantasy baseball. You can't give me any credit. You have to make it, it's so whatever.
Well, you had a good day. I'll give you that.
Oh, thank you.
You gotta stop feeding him over here. You're feeding him all the secrets.
It's not true at all.
You're just tossing it up for him.
The air really carried for those Diamondbacks players.
Do you guys really need a physics lesson? I took third grade physics one time.
Third grade physics?
That's a joke. Thank you. They don't actually teach physics to third graders.
All right, you know what? If you can scientifically prove that the air carries itself, I will
tomorrow.
Yeah. You know what? We have a listener who's a third grade teacher, and I asked him about this exact thing. Ryan, if you're listening, please tweet us at SFL Show about carrying and physics and all this.
You actually checked up on that.
No, because I know he's a third grade teacher, and I asked him just jokingly. I was like, "Is this carrying thing?" And I don't think I was taken seriously.
No, you shouldn't be.
I'm not going to lie. Since I run the show, we're moving on because I get to do that whenever the heck I want.
Yes, you do.
All right, the biggest thing on the Star Fantasy League show is we like to be accountable for our fantasy decisions because most sites, most companies, most radio shows, they make their picks and you only hear about it if they do well. So we're going to tell you if we did well, if we did poorly, what we did wrong, all that good stuff. Does that sound like a good idea?
Sounds like a good idea.
All right, and later in the show, we're going to do some lineup breakdowns. We got some John Old's mailbag, and also we're going to be breaking down everything MLB for Friday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Let's do it. Let's be accountable. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, if I had listened to myself, I probably would have done pretty well last night.
Don't you hate that when we talk about all these games? There's 15 games. You like this, you like that, but how do you know exactly what you like to put into a lineup? Because you can't pick 35 guys.
You got to go with the gut.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Thank you, Jason. We can't transfer our gut feelings to our listeners every time.
So I learned a pretty valuable lesson last night. What I did is I actually tried to stack up on top-level pitching, and while Corey Kluber and Josh Beckett had decent games, they didn't have the stellar games that I was looking for. Steven Strasburg did, but Beckett didn't get the win. Kluber was so-so. If I had listened to myself and stacked Toronto in their 8-2 win over the Tigers, I would have been just fine.
Or if you had listened to me and stacked the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Oh, that was a late run.
That's not true at all. They had like 8 by the 5th inning or something like that.
Yeah.
They got 8 late to go to 16.
They spread it out pretty evenly.
Yeah.
All right.
But they did put a lot on late.
That's true. Yeah, one of the pitchers I noticed had a 0 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, 7 hits. He was bad. Oh. Very, very unfortunate.
It's a Coors Field line.
Well, Toronto still did really well. Like I said, they won 8-2. I had Adam Lind was my batter of the day, who I didn't put in my lineup. He had 7.75 fantasy points. Scooter Gennett, my value play, did not play. So, like I said, make sure that you check those lineups like that because it's just one of those, Ricky Weeks ended up playing, and he actually ended up doing
For the money, he was my value play of the day. He was only 3,500. He got 2.75 points. And, Jason, if you're putting a guy at the minimum, that's what you want, right? 2-3 points out of the guy?
Yeah, anything over 0 is a positive.
Anything better than 3 strikeouts.
There is one thing we need to talk about, though. It's how bad are the Dodgers against left-handed pitchers. I mentioned John Danks, and you guys laughed at me. And what did he do?
I don't think we laughed. I don't remember.
No, this wasn't. No, this was when Zach was on the show,
okay.
and Zach and you both laughed at me.
What,
you laughed
John,
at me.
John Danks has been solid against lefties?
No, John Danks is a lefty, and he pitched against the Dodgers, and he played
played
fantastically.
well, yeah.
He did 7 1/3. He had 1 earned run against.
I think this is more on the Dodgers.
That's what
have been
I'm saying.
Struggling in strange spots recently.
They
just don't show up occasionally.
No, but that's it. The left-handed pitching. You picked Francisco Liriano that one day. I laughed at you, and I got it back in my face for that one. I think we can safely assume that there's something wrong with the Dodgers when it comes to left-handed pitchers.
That might be true. The stats don't actually show that, but that's one of those things. Recent trends are kind of take more importance than overall stats sometimes.
Left-handed pitchers and Hector Noesi.
Yeah, and Hector Noesi. Great. Let's bring him up again. All right, my plays of the day were Paul Goldschmidt, 14.5 points. Couldn't ask for anything more. I did advocate for an Arizona stack, but it wasn't my stack of the day, so I will be accountable. I did pick the Brewers. They weren't very good as a stack. Did have Steven Strasburg, second highest pitcher overall, 12.25, and like I said, Ricky Weeks. So that's why I got so many points. I did go with a lot of the Arizona guys. I think I had like 40 points between, 2 or 3 of those guys. So,
yeah.
And you know what? I think it's time for lineup breakdown because we are going to have a lot of the same things to talk about because a lot of these series are exactly the same, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's do this.
Time for your Star Fantasy Leagues MLB Fantasy Lineup Breakdown.
All right, like I said, I am still riding high on the Arizona-Colorado series, mainly on the Arizona side, because I feel like a lot of players in daily fantasy, especially on StarFantasyLeagues.com, are going to be targeting the Colorado Rockies. So I'm doing the GPP play and going the exact opposite direction. I'm going a lot of Arizona. I have 3 guys in. I want to know what you think.
Well, plus you can find a lot of value on Arizona, whereas Colorado, we talked about this yesterday, their prices are so high. We need to wait for them to come down a little bit, and their offense is kind of tapered off just slightly.
Yep, this is I sound like a broken record, but for 2 days in a row, I am going with Paul Goldschmidt as my offensive play of the day, so obviously I got him in. My other Arizona guys are Montero had a monster game yesterday. He's in again for me. And then I have Chris Owings for my nice little value spot for Arizona.
You got my guy from yesterday.
Yep. But I didn't have him yesterday. I have him today.
Yeah, he didn't play yesterday, so that's good.
I know.
But I like Montero. He's hitting cleanup against righties. It's kind of rare to see a catcher hitting cleanup these days, but he mashes the right-handed pitching, especially in Coors.
Yeah, especially in Coors, especially to a guy, Nicasio, who's given up almost a homer and a half per 9, which is really, really disgusting, especially at home.
Yeah.
Those numbers just inflate. You expect that to be, 2 at home? I assume. I didn't look at the specific splits, but I assume most of his home runs have probably come at Coors.
Probably.
Yeah,
Safe to assume.
that might happen. But I mean, Nicasio hasn't been good overall all year, so I'm not really expecting much out of this game. It's another 10 over/under for this series. On the other side of the ball, I do have one Colorado Rocky in there. That's Corey Dickerson for value. Again, 6,500, StarFantasyLeagues.com. He's pretty much a mainstay now that Cargo's gone.
Yeah. Well, all right.
All right,
You guys are just like, I want to talk. Go.
I was going to say we all agreed on him. That was all I was going to say. He's a consensus among us right now. He's doing very well.
And I have a few Rockies in my lineup actually tonight against Bronson Arroyo, who just tosses beach balls up there. He throws junk. He's been down this year, but I think at Coors Field, he's in for a rough outing tonight.
Yeah, he's bound to get a little bit exposed. The funny thing is all of his stats right now show that he's exactly where he should be with his 4.4 ERA. All of his advanced statistics basically say, yeah, this is the pitcher he is. So expect this game to be around exactly what that over-under is. Probably over, though.
He is who we thought he was.
Yeah, he is who Bronson Arroyo seems to be, and that is atrocious. Oh, wait, we're not allowed to smash players. Can we do that? We can. Who cares? Nobody cares. All right, a guy that I got in for some nice little value, my value play of the day, John Singleton, just got called up. Had a great first game, frustrated the crap out of you, Jason, in his second game, but I think I like his matchup quite a bit.
I don't know. I'm not on him tonight. Facing
Why?
a lefty matchup.
Tyler Skaggs has been really, really atrocious against lefties this season.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use that word atrocious against lefties, though. Give me the laydown. Tell me, how has he been atrocious against lefties this year?
His WOBA is very, very, very under average
There
against
you go
lefties.
with your sabermetrics.
Oh, God.
Your
Weighted
crazy
on-base
sabermetrics.
average, I'm going to keep saying this. It's the most complete stat when you're just lumping everything together. It's not a stupid stat. It's not an awful stat.
Well, I really like Skaggs tonight. I think he has a pretty nice matchup. I'm going to roll him out. He's like 11.5, so.
Well, I mean, you could still like him and then like one guy on the other team.
Yeah, if you're taking a minimum-priced guy, it's nice to take a guy who has a lot of power and who can hit a home run. So when they do, you get a ton of value out of that.
Yeah,
pick.
this is true. Yeah, you're not getting the 1 or 2 points. You're getting the 7, the 10 points if something happens. I completely agree there. All right, moving on. I got a couple Baltimore Orioles in my lineup. I'm a big fan of Colby Lewis for reasons that, we can tell. He likes to give up the long ball. He's not good.
Yeah, you're a big fan going against it.
Correct. Yeah, I like seeing Colby Lewis's name only because it means I get to stack against him, much like Nick and Wade Miley.
Yeah,
that's
and
your
Hector
boy.
Noesi and other players that
All
I
right,
stack
so
against.
my 2 Baltimore Orioles are Manny Machado, and I also have Nelson Cruz. Come on.
Gotta do it.
Yeah, Nelson
Orioles,
Cruz,
yeah.
he's on such an uptick right now that you kind of have to play him until he cools off.
Yeah.
Or his price gets to like 14,000, and then you stop doing it, right?
Orioles, my stack of the day for today.
Are they? Yeah, you're not a fan of Colby Lewis. Who else you got?
I have Chris Davis,
Okay.
and I also have Nelson Cruz. I think those are my only 2 guys I'm playing.
Okay,
now.
so you got 2 as well?
Yeah.
All right, nothing wrong with that. Maybe get J.J. Hardy in there for some value if he does play. He's pretty cheap.
Well, I've got Tulo in. So
Oh, okay. Never mind. Whoa.
So those are all of your batters?
No, I got more batters.
You do?
I got my last one is Ryan Braun.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. No, I already mentioned. No, sorry, I didn't. Ryan Braun and Ricky Weeks for my Milwaukee guys.
Okay.
So it depends. If Ricky Weeks plays, great. He's been kind of in there doing fairly well, so I'm assuming he will stay in the lineup.
One thing that we did need to mention, though, there's a pitching change for Baltimore.
Yep.
Chris Tillman's coming in. I like to pick against Tillman, and I have a bunch of Texas Rangers in my lineup tonight. So I would advocate for a little bit of a stack, maybe those 3, 4, 5 hitters, Chu, Hamilton, and who am I forgetting here?
Hamilton, not on that team anymore.
Or not Hamilton, that's who I'm talking
Rios.
about. Beltre, that's what I was talking
Beltre.
about.
Yep.
Chu, Beltre, not Rios. I'm not so sold on him, but Leonis Martin too.
All right, let me get to my pitchers really quickly. I got Michael Wacha in there. I think that's our consensus play of the day. I spent a little bit of money on the top 2 pitchers, and then I got Willie Peralta, who I went back and forth with against Ventura, but it just came out the matchup is just too good to pass up for Peralta against Minnesota.
Yeah, they're heavily favored tonight. Who's on the mound? Kevin Correa.
Yeah,
for
Kevin Correa,
Minnesota.
and the Minnesota strikeout thing is just it's not. Yeah, we got to go against.
You mean you were trying to decide between him and
Between,
Ventura?
yeah.
Okay, all right. I just got
Correct.
confused.
Yeah, because I mean the Minnesota thing, they strike out the fourth most in the league. I think that's something especially for a strikeout pitcher, you want to see that.
Yep.
Definitely want to see. And then I think what was it? Where the heck is he? Yeah, Ventura is going up against St. Louis, who doesn't really strike out anywhere as much. So that's not something you don't want to see if you're trying to pick pitchers.
Yeah, and Ventura's coming back off his injury.
Yep.
Maybe it's a wait-and-see approach for him, see how he does tonight.
That is right. And then I went with your play of the day at pitcher, Jacob deGrom, to get a little bit of value going up against the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, I saw their lineup already today. They've got a lot of righties in there, only a couple lefties. So deGrom's a right-hand pitcher. I think he should do well tonight.
I sure hope so, man. He's been kind of all over the place, but so far this season, he's been a nice little bright spot in the Mets team because they have not been good either.
Nice find for them.
Yeah, good for them. Hopefully they get all their pitchers healthy going into next season. Maybe we'll see a little spurt for them. No, we won't. The Mets are not going to have any kind of resurgence. Come on now. All right, so that's my lineup on StarFantasyLeagues.com for Thursday. Coming up at the break, it's time for John Old's Mailbag, and you'll listen to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
The Star Fantasy League Show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
That is right, man in the cage. All you got to do to have your voices heard on the Star Fantasy League show is tweet us at SFL Show. That sounds pretty easy, right? Nick, I think you're doing it right now. You tweeting us at SFL Show?
I'm not tweeting, no.
Oh, that's depressing.
I like to tweet, though.
Oh. What's you have Twitter too, right? You
I
actually
do.
tweet at the fans, yeah?
I do. At SFL Nick. That's me.
We don't have fans. Don't get that confused.
Yes, we do.
Do we?
I have fans.
Oh, okay. So you're getting all the Twitter fans.
I'm gaining followers as we speak.
I'm just getting tweets from people saying, "What a terrible job. How am I beating you so badly? Like, what are you doing?"
Badly? What are you talking about? You beat me badly once last night. That's it.
I just wanted you to say it again. I just
Here we go.
You.
You know, you just like to stir the pot. Just
Hold
stir
on.
the pot.
Remember when you were up by what was it 6-4? Now it's tied.
Yes, it is tied.
What's going on? If I get 3 in a
games.
row, you were gonna start panicking. It's gonna be really fun.
3 in a row
Lay the
is
smack
considered a winning streak.
Yeah. I'm really excited for my third win in a row tonight. I'm not
Don't
gonna
count
lie.
on it.
You already heard my lineup, so you know what you're up against. It's a pretty big monster.
Yeah, dud.
Oh, God, come on. You can't give me any credit. I'm learning. I am you in basketball. I'm an amateur that's slowly learning, and I'm getting up and I'm playing these free rolls. I'm trying to do my best. Why can't you just let me do that?
I'm just going to copy your lineup and call it a tie.
We did that once in basketball, and it was really, really funny. All right, let's get into John Ellis' mailbag. First question's from Adam H. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals went to overtime with the Kings coming out on top at home. What can we expect in Game 2?
I think you can expect a lot of the same throughout the whole series, although, the Kings really came out pretty hard in the third period.
Yeah, what was it, 20-3 on shots?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't think you're going to see a lot of any high-scoring games in this one. I would be surprised if either team scores 4 goals more than once in this series. In the past couple of series, LA has really found their stride on offense. I just don't know. I mean, Henrik Lundqvist is one of the best goalies, so is Jonathan Quick. Both teams are well known for their defense, although I did see somebody try to say that the Rangers' defense is better than the Kings. Let's remember something here. The Kings finished with the best defense in the entire NHL in the regular season.
And the Kings didn't try and clear the puck from their defensive zone up the middle twice, allowing 2 goals to the Kings. That's like one of my huge pet peeves.
Yeah.
Whenever D try to clear the zone up
It's
to
like
the
the
middle.
first thing you're taught when you're a kid.
Even I know that.
Yeah.
And I don't play
Keep
hockey.
to the outside.
Rangers had a 2-0 lead at the end of the first, and stupid play on defense. Kings capitalize, and then they took the whole momentum from there.
Well, how about the Rangers? That last minute of play in the third period, the Rangers should have scored. They had Hagelin had a breakaway. He looked like he had a pretty easy game winner there, and he's just like, oh nope, sorry, you got nothing.
And
He
then
scored on the
Kings came
same.
down.
He scored on the same play earlier in the game, right? Little breakaway, Hagelin put it in there.
Yeah, it's fast.
He's very fat. He's very quick.
Yeah, he is. But, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of low-scoring games in this one. Close checking, hard-fought games. Both of these teams match up really nicely against one another. So I think we're going to look at least a 6 or a 7 game series.
So you think we're going to be talking about this for a while?
I think we could be, yeah.
All right, you know what? Then we're going to move on because if we have so much time to talk about it, we'll have plenty of different stories and all these good storylines to talk about in hockey. So we're moving on. Leo R. writes, the NBA Finals rematch between the Spurs and Heat kicks off tonight. Hey, we can say tonight on the show now.
Hey, how about
thankfully,
that?
Jesus. All right, do the Spurs exact revenge or can LeBron and the Heat win 3 straight? Ugh. That just sounds dirty, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. The Spurs really should have won last year.
Okay, I want to bring this up. I'm glad that you said that. LeBron James had a quote that said he felt slighted because of the whole the media's claiming they got lucky last year. Let's call it what it is. They got lucky last year.
They did.
They were down 5 with 28 seconds. Free throws coming for Manu Ginobili missed one of them to basically let them back in that game.
Yep, and then LeBron with his missed 3-pointer, they get a really lucky offensive rebound, and then vintage Ray Allen shows up, and we head to overtime.
Yeah, you can't say they got lucky when the people that set up the arena for this trophy celebration were setting up the floor for the trophy celebration.
Exactly.
They roped off the floor. They were ready. They had it like in the hall. They were pictures of the trophy in the hallway ready to be presented, and they lost that game.
I would love to say that last year's series is really going to play a huge role in this one, but I don't think it will. I really don't, because you have 2 teams that know how to play the game the right way. Greg Popovich and his squad they're smart. They're not gonna commit a ton of mistakes, and you have a ton of talent on the Miami side of the ball. So
I'm a little interested to see how this goes because I think a lot of people have said San Antonio is better than last year, and Miami may have dropped off a little bit because, let's be honest, their rotation is not very deep. They're going to play Rashard Lewis in this series because for some strange matchup issues, but. Man, they made Thiago Splitter go away in last year's playoffs. He was atrocious. He didn't play at all. And I think he actually might play a little bit of a factor this year. I think they may play him a lot more than last year.
Yeah, I think the Spurs have a lot more depth this year off their bench, which is going to be huge. Also, they have home court this year. And the Spurs have won 10 straight game ones in the playoffs.
Have they really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
that's pretty
interesting.
interesting.
I think the Spurs have a good shot this year. It's probably going to go 7, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would put my money on that as well. It's certainly not going to be a 5-game series, and if you play a game in Miami for a game 6, they're probably going to be able to take that. So.
I would be flabbergasted if this series goes 5 either way.
Yeah. I think the entire sports world would be too.
I can't see that happening. This all depends on Tony Parker. They claim he's playing in Game 1. I mean, the Spurs are a 3-point favorite, which is pretty standard, so I guess Vegas is also assuming that Tony Parker is playing Game 1. For some reason, they're a 4.5-point favorite in Game 2, though. I don't really know how that came up.
So
yeah, it's weird.
So I think we can safely assume that LeBron James would be the MVP should the Heat win that one. Who? I mean, can you say that there's a standout MVP on the Spurs?
Well, it would be. It's not the same as the NHL where they do the whole playoffs. It's just based on the finals.
That's what I mean.
So we're gonna have to wait and see
But that's what I'm
if
saying.
They
so
are
who
to
would it
win,
be in this series?
I could see it being anyone. Literally, it could be Kawhi Leonard. It could be Tim Duncan. It could be Manu Ginobili. I could see anything.
Leonard was the first name that came to my mind just because he's an X factor, and I think that if he gets his scoring going early in this series, Miami's going to have to game plan for him. And then they turn everything over to the big three in Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan.
Well, it all depends who they throw out there. Like, if LeBron James is kind of hovering on Kawhi Leonard, he's not going to be a factor in this series at all because they're going to be guarding each other on both ends. So
yeah, and LeBron was kind of spited. He didn't get his first-team NBA. Boo-hoo. First team NBA defense.
Oh, I was like, he definitely got all NBA first team.
Sorry.
I was like, if he didn't get all NBA first team, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, he had won it like the past 5. He was on like the first team the past 5.
First team all
and
defense.
This year he got second defense.
Who was in the forward for first team?
I don't.
I assume it was Paul George, right?
I don't remember. Iguodala got first team.
Yeah, he's a guard though. A little different.
I don't know.
All right, we'll have to look into that because I'm actually very surprised LeBron's not first team all defense.
Yep.
That's kind of crazy. All right, anything else about this series, or are we going to be talking about this again tomorrow when we find out what happens?
We're going to be talking about this for 2 weeks because that's how long the NBA likes to go with their
That is true.
NBA
There's
finals.
2 games in between 1 and 2, so that's going to be exciting. Thanks, NBA, for that, you jerks. Their scheduling is just really, really strange. All right, moving on. Juliet D writes, Colin Kaepernick inked a new 6-year, $126 million extension that will make him one of the highest-paid players in the league. Is this contract deserved, or were the 49ers bidding against themselves? You're salivating. Okay, Jason, you're salivating right now. Stop.
Yeah, I'm a Niners fan, but I think this is a great deal for the Niners, basically because it wasn't announced that this was like a year-to-year deal. He's only has $13 million guaranteed, and the Niners can cut him before April 1st in any season upcoming. So really, they're basically only buying him for 1 year, and I really hate how the NFL does this where they have these guaranteed contracts, and they're like $162 million, but you can just cut these guys anytime.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most guaranteed money ever, but it's not structured that he gets the money like right away, right?
Right.
It's structured so that if you're on the team, you get a piece of that guaranteed money every year. You're still with the squad.
He gets $12.5 million, I think, as a signing bonus. His base salary is only like $650,000.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, but they can just cut him at any time. Like next year before April 1st, gone.
Yeah, but
they don't have to pay him anything.
Do you really think – I think they're doing this mainly to keep him off of the free agency market because, let's be honest, a team like Oakland could throw $25 million a year at this guy and just go, yeah, be the face of our franchise. You're perfect to be an Oakland Raider because he kind of is perfect to be an Oakland Raider. Let's be honest.
Well, the Raiders will throw money at anybody.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they're doing this deal now is because you do not want him on the open market making God knows how much money.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
I mean, he's an elite talent, even though, I mean, his passing skills, he's got room for improvement, but I think he's a dynamic player.
He's no Tim Tebow passing. What are you laughing at?
He's not worth this much money, man.
He's
I'm
just
sorry.
sitting here.
I was trying to hold off and be nice, but he's not worth this much money.
Okay, you know what? This is a show where you can just say what you feel.
Well, Jason's a Niners fan. I don't want to bash on it. This is a day for celebration for him. If Aaron Rodgers, the day Aaron Rodgers did sign his contract, I was like ecstatic. I'm a huge Packers fan. I'm sorry, though, for a guy that was like ranked like 30th in the league in completion percentage last year, I don't see why he would be worth over $100 million. He's don't get me wrong, he's an athletic player. He has certainly had his accomplishments and his moments. He has been great against the Packers in the playoffs, and I wish that he didn't exist because of that. But
well, there you go.
But if you are okay, I always say this: if you're running a franchise and you had to say, I'm going to commit this amount of money to a player, you have to weigh the pros and the cons of that. He is not a passing quarterback. He locks into one receiver and until he can get his game so that he can survey the entire field. I just don't see why you would commit over $100 million to the guy. However, what you said about the fact that they can cut him, they can evaluate the situation in a year or two. that makes it more worth it, but the overall price tag is just mind-boggling. I can't believe that's how much they committed.
But let's be fair. Do you ever think they're inking this deal specifically going, in 2 years or 1 year, we're definitely getting rid of our franchise player? It's not going to happen.
No, then that's why I'm saying it doesn't make sense to me.
They're building pieces around him so that he is the face of the franchise. They're not bringing in like the star running back or the star wide receiver. He is the star of this team. The defense and Colin Kaepernick are the two things.
Okay, but why would you do that? Why would you make him your star? This is a running football team. They can certainly pass the ball, but
he's the running part.
This is Alex Smith did absolutely fine with this team when Jim Harbaugh came in.
Hold on. Did Alex Smith get them to the Super Bowl?
Did Alex Smith get them to the Super Bowl? Is that a legitimate question?
Yeah.
The injured Alex Smith, did he get him to the Super Bowl?
At any point in his career.
Okay, so if Alex Smith hadn't gotten injured, you don't think they would have gotten to the Super Bowl?
Alex Smith had one of the greatest comebacks in the history.
And then they kicked him out the door.
They did. I mean, he had a big contract. I wouldn't mind seeing him as like a backup, but I think they had to see what they had in Kaepernick. They had to go with it. He had to make the move. It turned out to be the right move.
Did it?
He got him to the Super Bowl.
How's number 6 going so far?
Okay, hold on. He got them to the Super Bowl. I think they actually should have won that game, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I also think he was one drop/tip pass away from going to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row.
Right.
Richard Sherman single-handedly ended their run. So they were there. They're going to be there next year. This is a team that's going to be there for the next 5 years, likely, with this team.
Disagree.
Okay. You are fair. You can disagree as much as you'd like. Coming after the break, it's time to do MLB Friday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. You also the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at StarFantasyLeagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League show with Jonathan, Zach, and Nick. Only on The Team.
Wrong. You couldn't be more wrong, sir. We're back on the Star Fantasy League show with Jonathan, Nick, and Jason Gringer. Yes, we are.
We need to start lashing this guy.
What do you mean start? We've definitely done it. I'm actually really proud of the fact that we mentioned the cage guy, and now in internal emails with our production, they actually tell us things about they write like cage guy.
Well, that's his name, isn't it?
Well, no, he doesn't have a name because we may have bought him on the open market, and he didn't come with a name. So
okay, well, we have renamed him.
Yeah, we renamed him Cage Guy. Perfect. That just sounds really reputable, right?
CG.
Yeah. All right, I'm cool with that. CG. All right, so you're basically you're a middle reliever that is like just continuing, and you're going to be closing out the week with us because Zach won't be back until Monday. He's traveling, we'll say.
Well, I'll be sure to ice up my arm tonight.
Yeah,
after the show.
You're on long relief duty. You've been pitching like 4 or 5 innings now.
3 days in a row.
Yeah, it's big time.
It's getting rough on the shoulder.
No, get out of here. We do this every day. How dare you? How dare you? 5 days a week on the Star Fantasy League show. And we have a lot to talk about for Friday baseball. There's 14 games to break down. For some reason, there's one game that's at noon on Friday. Like, what are you doing? Ugh. Yeah, exactly. Major League Baseball. I think it's, who? I don't even know who it is. I have no idea.
Who cares?
Yes, exactly. It's not included on StarFantasyLeagues.com.
It's probably the Cubs or something.
I don't know.
They play day baseball over there.
I don't know. This is one of those things, if it's not on my slate of games to look at, I don't care.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, a lot of these matchups are a lot different. What we like to do on the Star Fantasy League show is we're going to start with the offensive stacks that we're interested in, and we're going to move from there. So, Jason, kick us off. What's a stack that you like for Friday?
I am stacking the Blue Jays against St. Louis in Toronto, facing Lance Lynn. Toronto is first in the majors in weighted on-base average against right-handed pitching. The Jays' offense has been ridiculous at home this year. 360 weighted on-base average and a 488 slugging percentage, both second in the majors to the Rockies.
Yep.
Lynn's given up all his home runs on the year on the road. And in his career, Lynn has a 1.25 higher ERA on the road.
Ooh, that's big. You know what the funny thing is? I looked at this, I saw Lance Lynn. I go, oh, it's whatever. It's Lance Lynn. I saw the Blue Jays. I was like, ooh, we're picking against Lance Lynn.
Boom.
Yeah, the best part is we like lefties against Lance Lynn because he's pretty good against righties, but lefties is just fairly average. And this Blue Jays lineup has some power lefties in the middle. Obviously, Adam Lynn's got to be in the conversation. Francisco, and then we have 2 switch hitters in Melky and Reyes. So I'm assuming we have lots of lefties.
There's 4 lefties for you and 2 big righties,
Yeah.
Bautista and Encarnacion.
As I said, you have so much to choose from. If you are picking a stack, you can only pick 4 players maximum on StarFantasyLeagues.com. How do you decipher out of those 6 players we just named who you're actually playing?
I'm stacking the 3 through 6 guys, the power guys, Bautista, Lind, Encarnacion, and Francisco.
Whew. That's a lot of money to spend on a stack, though. A lot of those guys are nearing $10,000.
You got to find the home runs. Home runs are huge. You get 7 points for a home run.
That is true. We have advocated being home run hunters on the Star Fantasy League show because, honestly, if you don't have 2 or 3 home runs in your lineup and getting basically, 7 to 10 points from those guys, you're kind of screwed, right?
Well, in a GPP, yeah. If you're going in a head-to-head game, you can kind of be a little bit more conservative. You can kind of pick guys that you know are going to be scoring. You definitely have to go hunting for home runs, though.
This is true. All right, so we're moving on from the Blue Jays stack. Where are we going, Nick? Where are we heading?
I like Oakland tomorrow. They're playing Baltimore, and they're going up against Wei-Yin Chen. And he's a lefty, and Oakland's pretty damn good against lefties.
Yeah, I had Oakland targeted too. They're 11th in weighted on-base average against lefties, but Chen's given up 11 runs in his last 16 innings pitched.
And Wei-Yin Chen is one of those, again, a reverse split pitcher who's been atrocious against lefties.
Yeah.
What's with these lefties who can't pitch to lefties? That's supposed to be the most advantageous situation for a pitcher.
I was actually pretty surprised that Brandon Moss actually hits really well against left-handed pitchers. He's one of those guys I would have thought that, maybe they would rotate him out when the lefty comes on the mound, but yeah, he's having a great season. Josh Donaldson is obviously having a great season.
He's getting up there into crazy price territory. He's upwards of 11,000.
11,000, yeah. If Derek Norris starts, I like Derek Norris. And then Yoenis Cespedes.
Yeah, these are all guys I have on my list. I mean, anytime you got a reverse split lefty, especially with a guy with so much power like Brandon Moss and Donaldson, those guys I feel like are absolute musts.
And Camden Yards, great hitter's park.
Yep, I've noticed a lot of these situations where we're stacking are in hitter-friendly parks, and that just happens to work out. Sometimes I don't really care if the park is hitter-friendly or pitcher-friendly if it is a good pitching matchup.
Yep.
Yeah, it's always a bonus.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's not the first thing to look at. It's certainly not the last thing, but you got to keep it in mind.
There's actually a lot of really good pitching matchups, like head-to-head pitching matchups tomorrow. So if you're a baseball fan, this could be a really, really good day.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to another one of the stack. Am I going for a weird stack again? Should I give you a weird one?
Let's hear it.
All right, let's see. I'm going to go with, how about the Texas Rangers? I wanted to bring this one up because I have it listed as a possible stack, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it.
I'm actually okay with it.
I don't like it. I don't love it. I don't really know. Like the numbers show that Trevor Bauer in 4 starts, he's striking out a ton of guys, but all of his advanced numbers saying low ground ball percentage, high walks, high home run rate. He just happens to strike out a lot of people.
And his two of the games that he pitched out of those 4 were against Colorado and Detroit, so those are some pretty lethal lineups there. His only rough start was on the road, though, so this is going to be on the road, and it is in Texas.
It's in a bandbox. Yep,
Texas. I think you could safely stack those, like the 3, 4, 5 heart of the lineup guys, Beltre, Moreland, and Chu.
Yeah, those are the guys. Beltre and Chu were the guys I had targeted and written down, but I just wanted to make sure, because you see these numbers, and Bauer, if you see the high strikeout, you're like, oh, I could target him, but yeah, the Beltre and Chu have been really, really good against righties, so I might consider trying to put one of those guys in there, maybe 2.
Yeah, that's another park where you can take some guys in. It's almost like Coors or Rogers Center.
Especially if it's hot.
A lot of runs scored.
If it's hot there, like you said, the ball carries.
There you go.
I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to keep saying the ball carries. Wait, hold on. We got a Colorado game. How has nobody brought up this game? I want to stack this game in general.
Yeah, I would focus on the Dodgers in this one, me personally.
Yeah?
Yeah. They're going up against Eddie Butler, and this is going to be his first start.
Yeah, making his major league debut. This guy is being thrown into the fire.
Yeah, the last young gun that the Dodgers faced was Compton for Pittsburgh, and they blew him apart. So I'm going to look for something similar to that. Then again, you can never really tell, so I might steer clear and just go with one of those safer stacks where you actually know what's going on. But if you're going to, you have tons of people to choose from: Puig, Gonzalez, Ramirez, and
Kemp. You're going to say Kemp,
I was going to say
you?
Kemp. You're right. Yes, I was going to say Kemp, but he is in such a rough place right now. He's at 5,100 though, so if he dings one, you got a ton of value there.
Yep,
that is true. But on the other, you guys aren't interested on the other side of the ball. Ryu. It is in Colorado. Like we said, you have to talk about the Tulo effect at home. Tulowitzki's expensive, but he's absolutely destroying the ball. 562 WOBA against lefties. My God.
Anytime Tulo's at home, he's worth a flyer.
Yeah, and I mean, we still have these guys that we keep talking about. Blackman's a little expensive, but Dickerson, for the money, has been really, really solid. He's been basically a value play every day.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his splits are against left-handed pitching since he is a lefty, but he's going to be out there probably. They might play actually Stubbs in this game since he's a righty, so Dickerson's
Well,
probably
don't forget, they still have no cargo, so they have to go with extra outfielders every day.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be Stubbs, I would imagine, tomorrow.
So you're basically saying no stack of the Colorado Rockies. You're saying basically Tulo and maybe.
So Tulowitzki's right around 11,000, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about it and you're thinking about stacking a team, I would rather go with Oakland with Josh Donaldson at 11,000 because then I know I can stack those other players beneath him and get some more value just to gather it all up together.
I don't.
Colorado, I'm fading off of them a little because I just want those prices to come down before I really jump back
That's
on
true.
it.
All right, let's get to one more stack that I like before we move along to pitchers. I love the New York Yankees. They are my stack of the day. I save them till last. Going up against Jeremy Guthrie, who has not been good. His numbers all show that he's basically who we say he is. 4 ERA, doesn't strike out anybody. He just seems not to have it.
Really surprised the opening line for this was like 8.5 for the over-under. I think we could definitely see it go over that.
Yeah, potentially. Chase Whitley hasn't been bad, though. He's actually had some pretty good starts so far.
Well, the only thing is he hasn't had any quality starts.
That's
so
true.
If you're looking for a pitcher, you don't expect him to go deep into the game.
But he is super cheap. Ellsbury has really good numbers against Guthrie, 20 for 46, 6 doubles, 1 home run, 4 walks. Solarte, 392 against righties. Tex 371 against righties. These are all big numbers. And Brian McCann for some value at around under $6,000 could get in there too.
Yeah, you named my play of the day right there.
Who? Ellsbury?
Yeah.
Oh, I got LZ as my play. Oh no, I have 3 different ones just in case you guys steal mine.
Yeah, and my 3 stacks I had listed was Toronto, Oakland, and Yankees. So we hit them all.
Perfect.
You know, somebody came back today though off the DL, Carlos Beltran,
who hasn't been hitting well this season, but could. He's like hitting 230 this year.
He still has good power numbers.
That's true.
He's under 7,000.
I know, but he just came back from injury. I feel like this might be one of those wait and see. He's been out for a while.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, let's move on to some pitchers. Who are we liking? There's a lot of these big name, big money pitchers, but I don't really like a lot of their matchups. I'll be honest. You Darvish, I don't absolutely love it because Cleveland strikes out 29th most in the league, which is bad. They're 5th against righties as a team. I just think those are stats that if you have to pick, those don't look good to me.
Well,
but you're still on Darvish.
Well, you as the man. Darvish doesn't matter with the matchup.
He's my play of the day.
Oh, goody. Please, you know what? Tell me
just
why.
Pooped all over him.
Tell me why, because the numbers I'm looking at tell me that Cleveland is actually pretty good against righties.
Yeah, he's faced a lot of good lineups lately. I mean, over his last 4 starts, he's only allowed 4 runs in 32 innings pitched in 18 hits while striking out 41 guys. The current Indians lineup has struck out in 14 of their 33 at-bats against him.
Wow.
And he actually has a lot better numbers in Texas than on the road. So he pitches a lot better at home, which is really weird.
Yeah, really surprising.
But, yeah, I think he's on a roll lately. I don't know. I like him tomorrow.
And he's 20,000. He's upwards of 20,000. I feel like that's big, though. And we also got, we got Johnny Cueto. That's a bunch of money.
Yep.
That's the only reason I would really back off of those guys, though. 22,000 for Cueto, 20,000 for Darvish. You have a couple of really good matchups, though.
I like
Houston
Johnny
at Minnesota with Kuchel and Hughes. At Philadelphia at Cincinnati, Hamels against Cueto.
Yep.
And then there was one more. But, in each of those games, it kind of makes it tough. You're not going to expect the win from both of those guys.
Well, then you have the Mets and Giants, John Neesmith, Matt Cain. Matt Cain coming off the DL. I think he could be a really good value pitcher. He's around 10,000 right now, coming off the DL. He was pitching fairly well.
Yeah, 2 other guys I'm targeting tomorrow are Julio Teheran at Arizona. He's been great this year.
You're not riding the Arizona heat wave right now?
I love Teheran, too.
Get off of that.
He's been very good.
And Tyson Ross, pitching at home against Washington. He's allowed only 1 run in 5 of his last 6 starts.
Wow.
So he's been on a roll.
He has. He's been on fire.
And I wouldn't sleep on the other side of that matchup for Washington and Tanner Rourke. He hasn't had the greatest numbers all season, but San Diego at home, they strike out quite a bit, and they're also 29th against righties. That might be a little bit of a pitching matchup for you to take a look at.
Yeah, Rourke's been a lot better at home this year, but San Diego's pretty bad on offense.
And San Diego's a great place to pitch as well. Petco Park, where nothing leaves the yard.
I did catch a home run ball there once.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You caught the only home run ball that day, I'm
It
sure.
was in batting practice.
Oh, there you go. That does not count.
doesn't
You didn't
count
catch
at
a
all.
home run ball. All right, coming after the break, we're giving you all of our value plays and our top plays for Friday on StarFantasyLeagues.com, and you'll listen to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
We are back on the Star Fantasy League Show, but we are not yet wrapped up because we have not given you our plays of the day for MLB Friday on StarFantasyLeagues.com. We just spent the whole last segment talking about stacks and batters and hitters, and your mind might be spinning, but we're going to clarify it right now by giving you our top pitcher, our top batter, our top stack, and our top value play, all three of us. That's a lot of information in a nice, tight little package.
We're going to give you the picks you need to take down Jonald.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere fun with that, and you just crapped all over
Jason,
me.
did you have fun with that? I think I had fun
I
with that.
enjoyed it.
I don't enjoy
It was
any
fun.
of this. I'm not happy. All right, Jason, start us off. Since Nick's yelling at me, you get to start.
All right, as previously mentioned, my batter of the day is Jacoby Ellsbury. He's kind of almost a value play. His salary's down at $7,900. As you mentioned, he has a great career against Guthrie. Guthrie has the second highest home run per 9 rate in the majors against left-handed batters at 2.31, which is huge. Ellsbury's on a 10-game hitting streak. He's got 18 stolen bases this year. 2 of them were today. And I think he's a nice play there for you.
They're batting him third in the lineup, right?
He's hitting third.
He's got to get that power number going, and I think that's a great reason to keep him for a value play. He's batting third. He usually has great power numbers. I think that's a good one.
Yep, pitcher of the day, Yu Darvish, mentioned it last segment. And value play of the day is Kyle Blanks for Oakland. They're going to be going against a lefty in Chen. He's got a 6-game hitting streak. His salary's down around $4,000. He's got 2 homers this year. He's hitting .350. He's got huge power, and both his home runs are against lefties this year.
Perfect. Who's your stack?
Toronto.
Perfect. All right, let's continue, Nick.
All right, my pitcher today is going to be Kyle Loesch. I love his matchup, and I love the way he has been pitching. Pittsburgh strikes out third most against right-handed pitchers this year, and he is just over 16,000, so I think that his value might be a little bit nicer than some of those top pitchers. Batter of the day is going to be Josh Hamilton. I think the Angels, you might be able to actually stack them, but I'm just going to pick him to start. My value play of the day is going to be Mike Zunino for Seattle, the catcher. He's just over 5,000. He usually bats 6th, and I really like their matchup against Eric Bedard. I'm stacking Oakland, the A's.
Look at that. We're all differing on our stacks. We're different on our picks. This is the perfect day when there's 14 games. We get to give you all of the angles for daily fantasy baseball. I am going with Adam Lind. I absolutely love Toronto. Not the best matchup in the world, but come on. It's Toronto at home. You kind of have to go with Adam Lind third.
Lind has been huge lately.
Yeah.
He's hitting cleanup in between Bautista and Encarnacion, so he's got some protection there. He's ripping a lot of doubles, got a lot of power. So.
Yep, that's why I like him a lot. I mean, I like Ellsbury too, but you took him, so I'm not going to go with him. I love Dallas Keuchel. 16,000 around there. He's saving you about 5,000 or 6,000 from the top guys down. So, and I like his matchup against Minnesota because let's be honest, it's Minnesota. They strike out a lot.
Yeah, I love that one.
Name is pronounced Keuchel.
Nope, Dallas Keuchel. Sorry, I'm not calling him Keuchel. It's not happening ever. Not happening. Well, all right,
Just like Jamie Garcia.
Yeah, Jamie. Thank you, Jamie Garcia. My value play of the day is Brian McCann and stacking the entire Yankees organization, all of them.
McCann, what's his salary at?
He's around like 50-something hundred, under
Not
6,000 right now. I mean, it's not the biggest value play. If you're going to go for super value, obviously the Ricky Weeks, Scooter Gennett, that combination. I like Milwaukee a lot again. I feel like a broken record saying Ricky Weeks. So we're going with Brian McCann instead. I love the Yankees, and I love playing daily fantasy sports on StarFantasyLeagues.com. What's better? It makes the games more entertaining to watch. It just makes sports better.
Never been this much into baseball. This baseball season has been a lot of fun for me.
That's true. I used to play daily fantasy, season-long fantasy baseball when I was a kid, and I dropped off for a while. It was just too much work. But daily fantasy baseball, if you want to put in the work, you can do it. But just do it for one day. You don't have to do it every single day. Get $5 free. Tweet us at SFL Show with your username. We'll put $5 in your account. No strings attached. We got thousands of dollars in guarantees, prize pools every single day, free rolls every single day. Come and get in on the free money we got. And if you don't respect Brian Scalabrine, we can't be friends. Take it easy, guys.